A new report out this morning from Shift Canada is urging Canadian students to deliberately fail in the classroom. But of course, there are a couple of asterisks here. For a closer look at Shift Canada's first impact report are AJ Tabando, the CEO of Shift Canada, and joining us as well, Isabella Kamenga. Thank you both for being here. AJ, the shift in thinking on this is really fascinating. The idea of deliberately failing. Why do you want kids to fail?
We know that failure is one of the best teachers when it comes to learning how to take risks, how to be innovative, how to be resilient. You don't gain that only by experiencing success in your life. You gain that by failing, trying, and learning, reflecting on what you learn and what you gain from that. So we know that students for the future need to be prepared to take risks and think creatively, and so we think failure is a great teacher to do that.
I mean, AJ, a lot of people say, you know, especially successful people say, if you haven't failed, you haven't almost really succeeded, right?
That's right. Well, I mean, it means you're playing it safe, you know? Failure means that you're pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone, you're thinking ambitiously, you're thinking big, and that's what the world's calling us to do right now, particularly young people who are growing up in a very different world, a very fast-changing world. They can't be afraid to try, and if you are afraid to fail, you're not going to try.
Yeah. What about that, Isabella? Because there is that fear of failure. There's that pressure as a young person or as a student or whatever that, you know, oh my gosh, if I fail, you know, the world's going to collapse around me. How do you overcome that? How have you dealt with that?
Yeah, so basically as an introverted student myself, I would always be so scared to try because of the fear of failing. Like, I shouldn't try out this opportunity because what if something bad happens? Then I feel like I shouldn't do it, you know, and that really puts a burden on me. So how I try and overcome this is by like thinking failure is a good thing. It's just a minor setback, but it's not even a setback. You can think about it because it's just a way on how to improve. You can think about it as a lesson. And you're like, okay, this happened. Now, how are some ways I can improve? Like, for example, you fail a test or you don't do so good on it. Well, maybe it's because I need to study harder a little bit or I need better sleep. And then that way, the second time there's another test, I will use those methods and I will do better. So it's not about being scared. It's about getting the grit to persevere and overcome that fear of failure. Yeah,
build up that resilience and that grit, Isabella. And I'm sure you probably feel pressure maybe from your parents or from your teachers or from your peers even as well. What do you think the message out of this report really needs to be for that audience as well?
For that audience, I would say peer pressure is a huge thing in a teenager's life. And I think that means like those people all care about your teachers, your parents, your friends. They all want you to succeed. So take that and use it as power to just try and go for any opportunity. Try on those tests, take all those opportunities because those are all there to help you succeed in life.
AJ, I see your face lighting up as you hear Isabella answering these questions here this morning. She gets it clearly. Do most students understand this idea that failure can lead to success, do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I think everything we've heard from Isabella is so resonating across all of the folks that we're talking to from the program. Students are hungry for this kind of opportunity to break outside of this box of feeling like they need to be perfect. There's so much pressure out there, particularly now with social media and technology and the uncertainty of the world. There's just this really intense pressure to feel like you need to do everything right all the time. And so coming out and saying, you know what, you have permission to fail. It's okay. It is a teacher. It's a lesson. You can reflect on what you've learned and do better next time. And that's part of the process. That's actually a signature of success. We've really tapped into something that both teachers, parents, and students are galvanizing around. Right,
because there is such a negative connotation in like failing. It's a failing grade, failing this. It just sounds negative. Do you have an example of your own life, AJ, where you can say, I took a failure and I turned it into this?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, I've been an entrepreneur for myself for the past 10 years. And, you know, there's been lots of times where I thought I was going to take a big swing and knock it out of the park and absolutely did not. And, you know, it's hard to have those pitches or those, you know, sales that don't go through. But I would always step back and say, okay, what didn't go right here and what can I do differently next time to make sure that that I come out stronger. It's, you know, it's guiding me. Wherever I was weakest is where I can focus on next, and it always helped me come back stronger the next time.
Yeah, it's definitely an overall learning process, that is for sure. AJ, Isabella, appreciate this morning.
Yeah,
nice meeting you both. Thanks for being here. Thank you so much.